You are listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, Episode 2, the Savage Dragon miniseries number 3, and the Savage Dragon versus the Savage Megaton Man.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the Dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast with another FINcast Retro show. Our format's a little bit different than what we do for the new issues of Savage Dragon. We're actually going to be looking back at Savage Dragon issues of the past, as well as Savage Dragon relevant issues, series that were important as it relates to Savage Dragon. These are going to be tackled chronologically in the date that they were published, meaning that we might stop and take a detour if one of these side projects was published before, what you might logically expect to be the next show. At any rate, that's just how it goes. We're going to summarize the issue, not do panel by panel like we do with new Savage Dragon issues, but summarize, give our thoughts, and then final thoughts on each issue. My name's Raven Perez.
I'm Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
We got some pretty kick-ass issues here, fellas.
We're gonna wrap up that Savage Dragon miniseries with issue number 3, third Rockin' issue, where the Savage Dragon battles Bedrock.
This is before Liefeld got scared of the Hanna-Barbarians.
What, you thought Hanna-Barbera was gonna sue him? Fred Flintstone coming for you.
It was actually the funny thing about Bedrock changing his name from Bedrock to Badrock is that was legitimately covered in the pages of Youngblood.
Yeah.
Like, he did actually say, "Oh, I should probably stop, change my name." And he actually used to yell "Yabba Dabba Doom."
Okay, that's a little on the nose.
Yeah,
you probably shouldn't have done that part.
Right. Yabba Dabba Doom.
You probably could have gotten away with it if you hadn't have done that.
Yep. So
and those meddling kids.
I always thought Badrock was a terrible way to adapt that.
What, Badrock? I thought... See, I don't give a shit about Youngblood, but I thought Badrock's an okay name.
Better than Bedrock?
Yeah, actually, it is. I would say it is better than Bedrock. Bedrock is...
No.
Thank you, Craig.
Bedrock is boring and basic. Badrock is... the alliteration
sounds like what a damn caveman would say. Bedrock. Not good. It's not good, dude.
I think
not
they
very,
did
not very
change the name.
Not very good rock.
At any rate, Jim, why don't you
Limestone.
give us a little
So yes,
summary?
Fortunately, I have this issue. I actually have a physical copy of this issue.
What?
So yeah, this issue basically rolls. We start up with Savage Dragon is in the hospital getting attacked by a guy named Inferno. We get some nice stuff with Frank, Alex, and Nurse Anne. We finally get to meet Overlord revealed and all his armored, hooded glory.
Yes.
Very long codpiece. We get we learn who Amanda Mills is. Mm-hmm. She was one of the people Dragon saved last issue when everyone was getting chucked across the room.
Wasn't she?
Oh no,
she's Nazi hostage?
You're right. It was the Nazi hostage in issue 1.
Yep.
And right away we start getting all the romantic drama the series is well known for. Mm-hmm. As Amanda shows up and Nurse Anne gets kind of jealous.
That's why I read it.
We get
Dragon, fucking with the press.
Yeah, another staple of the series is the Dragon always being scrutinized by the press because he's a big green killing machine. And then, our first inner image crossover, not counting that one woman from the TV. Bad Bedrock is here.
Well, don't forget Cyber Data.
I guess that is a mention. I forgot about that.
Yep.
The most overt crossover yet. Bedrock is going to have an old-fashioned hero v. hero throwdown, where they just kind of beat the hell out of each other. And beat the hell out of each other. And then we get a fun little aside where child versions of Erik Larsen and Todd McFarlane are real excited about the TV. Oh, right, Spawn's here too. I forgot about Spawn being in this scene.
Spawn getting ignored. This is the best gag.
And it's Erik. Actually, I'm wrong. It's Erik and... Oh, it's Erik and Liefeld. Spawn is the McFarlane character. That makes sense. And then Bedrock and Dragon keep punching and fighting and punching and fighting. Oh, yeah, and we forget the first little tease of Rodney plotline. Of the old woman with a picture of a guy with a mohawk, a green mohawk. This old woman
That's my Rodney.
Now, she's suddenly convinced that Dragon might be her Rodney.
I love it, dude. Look at his green mohawk.
Man, that's such a weird plot line. I can't wait till we get into it more, because it goes on a lot longer than you think. I think.
Yeah, it was around. Everyone was trying to guess what his origin was.
Because that was the thing, right? Dragon's origin was a mystery at this point, and people were actively wondering what his deal is.
Well, even the press were like, because they plant that seed, they were like, what's your deal? Like, were you trying to hide some past? Like, why you don't really forget everything, do you? Like, it was kind of like, why doesn't he remember things, And think, too, remember in the early 90s, like, guy without a past wasn't an overly explored trope. Wolverine was pretty much your guy without a past.
Right.
And I guess technically the Joker, but, like, you had, like, two guys that didn't have a well-established past. So... this was kind of still fresh.
And so in the end, Bedrock gets sick of the fight and tells Dragon to stop the fight. And Dragon stops and he asks what the fuck's going on. And Bedrock says, I just wanted to see if he was tough enough to join Youngblood.
Just wanted to see if you were tough enough to join Youngblood, dude.
And we get one of the best double page splashes ever. And Dragon takes him the fuck out. Because fuck that guy.
And his Mickey Mouse gloves.
Yeah, those gloves, bro. Those gloves.
And
big gloves.
And the issue ends with Debbie Harris out on her own, getting. Sorry, I don't say this. She gets taken into Dragon's apartment. And then Frank gets a phone call at night, and we find out that he was the one who tipped off the Vicious Circle to Dragon's whereabouts. Oh no, he set his cousin up to get shook down, and that to draw Dragon out. And Skullface is the one who confronts him about it, and this issue ends basically with Frank basically realizing he's screwed.
Sleep well, Frankie. Sleep well.
I gotta say, of all the issues we've reviewed so far, the actual fight in this issue isn't my favorite because it's kind of brainless and monotonous.
Blasphemy.
Absolutely. It's dynamic and cool and all, but it doesn't really lead anywhere.
Oh, blasphemy! That was the punchline. That was the punchline. That was the point.
I get it. Bedrock's an idiot. Almost from the beginning, it seems like Eric's taking shots at Youngblood for being stupid.
And Marvel Comics.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is the old-fashioned heroes fight until they reach an understanding that they're both heroes.
Right.
And even Bedrock says it happens in Marvel Comics all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dragon is not impressed with this.
I thought it was when reading it, I know people kind of shit on this issue. When new readers pick up Dragon for the first time, they start off with a miniseries or podcast.
Yeah.
They shit on this issue for being that kind of brainless fight. But I've always enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of funny and goofy, and it showed like Dragon as like this guy that's kind of got his head on straight, where all these other like superhero characters are running around in tights and acting like idiots. Like the Dragon was kind of the more down to earth guy. Was like, look at these bunch of idiots in tights.
Bingo, you nailed it, Craig. Like, that's the thing. If you say, oh, this issue doesn't do much, this issue draws a clear line, as if the other two issues, 1 and 2, didn't let you know, hey, bub, you're not reading a Marvel comic. This issue just comes right out and says it for you. Like, Badrock is just a moron and, like, just looking to fight just to have a fight. And for Dragon, like, that's, idiotic. Like, he has a point. Like, he's a cop. Like, he's a crime fighter,
Yeah. And
he's not just fighting for no reason.
In the first issue, we see Dragon not impressed with Star vigilantism in general.
And mostly because his hair.
Yeah.
But you take that seriously.
But Dragon's always had a problem with like masked vigilantes and that sort of, and other superheroes in general. He doesn't take them seriously most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes he's in the right, and sometimes the Earth gets destroyed. If he had just listened to Sergeant Marvel.
I love how Star had that full head of hair, and Erik was like, woof, after he saw that in print, and made it a point to just burn that shit off.
Oh, is that what happened?
It is one of those things that probably look cooler in black and white than it did color,
Yeah.
I would say, I think that this issue also, for the haters, I think this issue also does it.
For the haters.
It should. Yeah, take this, haters. Get ready. I'm about to lay it down. I'm about to lay down some science on you dumb shits. This issue allows you to see Erik flex his style chameleon ability.
Yeah.
Which is to say where he can kind of like do other people's stuff. So, for instance, his Spawn is spot on.
No, I think that's taken from Spawn.
And he's not wrong, because in the credits page there's a thank you, special thanks. It says special thanks this month to Rob Liefeld for the use of Bedrock and Youngblood, and to Spawn's Moo Crew, McFarlane, Olaf, and Orakowski, from whom we blatantly homage the Spawn TV bit.
Oh, maybe not. Well, homage means that he did it, right?
Yeah,
but I think he probably he must have took it from somewhere else.
Nope.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think, now when I think about it, I think Larsen could deal with like someone else's art in his book.
Yep.
Good point.
Plus, look at those kids. Look at that kid's shoe. You tell me that ain't a Larsen shoe. Look at that kid's like pant leg. You tell me that ain't a Larsen pant leg. I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah, no, it is. The Spawn, like the first page with like his eyes and stuff, it looks so McFarlane-ish, but it's not hard to do for Larsen.
No. But I mean, also too, you got Badrock here, looking better. Like not just style chameleon, but looking even better. But he still throws like some of that like huge Liefeld cross hatching, like on his leg and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the, snarly teeth. I don't know. I just thought there was some really good, style chameleon work here. There's also the expressions, to me, are still really good. Dudes, all right, flashback for the listeners. Flashback to the very first Bedrock panel, where it's a double page splash and he's punching Dragon's like glasses off. Guys, does Dragon not have Dolph Lundgren face?
I don't know what that means.
Dolph Lundgren? Drago from Rocky?
I know who Dolph Lundgren is, but I can't picture his face.
If he
Did you just say, I know who Rudolph Lundgren is?
No, I said Dolph.
Oh, I thought you said, I know who Rudolph Lundgren is.
No, I said, I know who...
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to say Rudolph.
Is his
real name is his full name Rudolph?
I wouldn't call him that. I'd be afraid. Rudolph Lundgren. But I don't know. It's a great face. Great face.
Dude, there's another great face.
I know which one you're going to say, dude.
Which one?
It's the one where he punches Bedrock into the water.
Yeah, and he looks down like, oh shit, now I gotta go get him.
So he makes that joke, like, hope you can swim, punk. And then he kind of like, he's like, uh-oh, what if he can't?
That face is like, that looks photo referenced or something. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's not, and that's what's so funny. I just want to say, like, these issues are how many years old now, and like, they hold up. Like, there's little things in here, flourishes, and visual things that you can look at, and it's still totally on point.
Yeah, dude, we didn't talk about this cover.
We didn't. Oh, I guess we didn't.
It warrants conversation.
Dude, look at the texture on the bricks.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Ugh.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, dude.
Somebody found the brick texture brush.
Yep.
And the green reflection on Bedrock, no.
I think it's interesting that whoever colored it, again, I swear I feel like they touched up marker coloring. Because, like, there's just some stuff going on here that looks textury, unless they went in and put the textures in digitally, which they could have. But, like, look at Bedrock, like, there's, like, noise in his gray. Like, in the gray of his, like, rock skin.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I don't know, somebody go in and add that with computer? Like, what's up? What's going on here?
I'll tell you a little thing I heard a long time ago that I remembered. You know why that says Battles Bedrock so large?
Why?
Because he mistakenly drew Bedrock with 4 fingers instead of 3.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
But, you know, it's funny because Larsen is known for, like, such great covers. And I feel like the miniseries covers are just not good. Like, they look cool and stuff, but as covers, they're way, like, you know, if Larsen looked at these covers, I'm sure he would say the same thing.
He looks at them every day and says, shakes his head.
Well, they're just way too busy. I mean, he went out and actually he redid the covers in the Dragon 5-issue miniseries where he reprinted everything in chronological order.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the covers are, like, so much easier to look at. But I'm just saying, issue 2 and 3, like issue 3, this is a hard cover to look at. Like, what? There's a lot going on. I remember as a kid, like, not really understanding, between 2 and 3, really not understanding what was going on in the cover.
Really? You really think they're a hard read? It's just a guy punching another guy.
What's going on behind the drag? Like, it's just hard to look at.
I mean, I'm not going to say
I see that he's punching him, but it's like, I don't understand what's going on around him. Like, do you really need all that crap around it? Like, it's just so, like, if you're going to try to throw all this lettering and stuff, and I get why I put Battles Bedrock covering the fist, but it just adds. Honest to God, I remember just being, like, kind of confused between 2's cover with the hand covering Dragon, like, whose hand is that? And then
Just a rando.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this cover with the Bedrock, like, is there something else going on? Like, just looking at it and being like, just as a young person, like, being like, this looks like a mess.
I'm okay with it. I don't think it's obviously as strong as the book got, but I think it reads.
I just think it's crazy because Erik, I think draws covers is one of the best guys when it comes out laying out covers and stuff.
Sure.
It's just surprising that these weren't stronger.
So is the Gray Hand a bigger mystery than the Johnson twins?
No. I'm still going to talk about the Johnson twins every episode.
I like Inferno. I think Inferno is a cool visual.
Oh, hell yeah. You got the Kirby dots all over him.
Yeah. And then, like, you know, when he gets knocked out, they just go out. It's great.
What kind of boots is he wearing that don't melt?
I mean, you know,
The
same technology that's hooked up to his arms and
his harness.
suspenders. Yeah.
I've always been bugged out by Dragon's 2 toes.
You don't like his turtle feet?
Nah, I don't.
You want to hear this? Like, somebody asked him, Larsen, they're like, hey, how come Savage Dragon has turtle feet? And he goes, well, technically, turtles have dragon feet. He said, because I drew my comics years before Ninja Turtles.
Well, that was the big clue with the 2 toes, that he's not actually human.
Really? That's one more thing I want to say. Don't you guys think it's funny how so many times in these early issues, they're like, dude's from space. He's a space invader, just from space. And like, they said it so much, and I was just like, to finally realize that was actually the case, like, I was just like, damn, they straight up said it so many times in those early issues. He's from space.
His two toes really bother me.
They still bother you?
Yeah, I don't like them. I get it. I mean, he's supposed to be like this handsome guy, and he's got these two big goofy toes, and it just bothers me.
I don't know. It seems more efficient to me.
I think it's fine.
It's just something that bothers me.
It's the big toenails, isn't it?
Because he's got two big toes, not like two small toes.
Well, here's what's crazier is think about it. Like, he wouldn't even have big toes. He'd have like the biggest toes, like two big toes. Like his big toes, that's like two big toes side by side. Like if you had 4 big toes on your foot, that's almost what he's got going.
Just weird.
I bet, Craig, the ladies don't give a shit about his 2 toes.
It freaked me out.
He's got muscles. He's got muscles for days and a handsome face. You're going to let it slide.
Yeah.
Overlord, what do you guys, like, okay, when you very first see your Overlord, your very first Overlord, what are your thoughts?
I'm not too impressed, honestly. He's got so many cool villains, like in the first couple of episodes. I'm like, who's this Doctor Doom ripoff?
Kind of Iron Man-esque.
See, I wasn't a huge like.
He's like he's like a Doctor Doom, Magneto, Iron Man mix.
Well, it's funny you say Iron Man because his original name is the Bronze Man.
Well, that makes sense.
But Erik didn't use that name. But in his pre-Image Dragon, he was the Bronze Man.
I mean, ultimately, we get, he's pretty badass. He's all pretty cool. Because this is the one thing you don't really see in the miniseries is how ruthless he is. I don't think he kills as one single person yet. That's more of an ongoing series thing he gets into the habit of doing.
I thought he was badass from the get-go. I was like, oh, dude, look at this goddamn dude. He looks like Dr. Doom on steroids.
Yeah, I felt like he was just the least interesting of all the bad guys. He never clicked with me. I was like, yeah, he's okay. He just reminds me of Dr. Doom straight up.
Overlord.
I've never been a huge fan of Overlord. I thought all his other big bads have been better.
You didn't think he got interesting? Because I thought like the old man in a suit bit was even more awesome.
I thought it was okay. I don't know. And then it got to be too much with like different people in the suit. And it got to be just about the suit, and anyone could,
Is this a real Craig, or is this a body snatcher Craig? I swear I've heard you praise that.
I don't know. Maybe I just changed my mind. I don't know. I praised what?
Praise the, multiple people in the suit.
I'm allowed to change my mind. I don't know if I did, but if I did, I'm allowed to change my mind.
Changed his mind. You heard it here first.
I'm a flip-flopper.
Flip-flopper. Inconsistent Craig.
No, but honestly, from the beginning, Overlord, to me, wasn't as interesting as the other bad guys.
I could get that. I mean, guy in an armored suit versus Shark Guy. Shark Guy wins every day.
I guess right away I got the impression that because he's revered by so many other guys, that this guy's a big deal. And I got roped into that.
Yeah, I was sold on it too. I was like I said, like I thought his visual was cool, and all those cool looking dudes respected him clearly, like they were flunkies. And so I was like, yeah, man, this guy's cool. He kicks ass. Spaghetti, Antonio.
So let's see. What's up?
I liked how the bad guys, like the Vicious Circle, was a gang, and it wasn't just like, oh, we're bad guys, and we're the Sinister Six or whatever. This was like a legit gang, and I'm not sure I had seen that in comics either. Just like the bad guys weren't just rando bad guys, they all were.
Well, I don't know when
in a big gang together.
I don't know when this was fully established, but the Flash's Rogue Gallery always kind of worked like that as a loose affiliation of supervillains.
Yeah,
I don't. That became a bigger thing in the mid to late '90s, but I think that it had been around for a while.
I do think the idea of them being like a gang like gangster, like gang members.
Right.
You know, I do think that the idea of like the book's entire rogues gallery like operating like, you know, I would say that you're probably right, Jim. I remember them like, you know, be like, oh, here's Mirror Master and Weather Wizard working together or whatever. But like, I mean, this is a gang with a leader.
Right.
Like they rob banks and stuff, like, you know, at his order. So it kind of does feel like it was just as Dragon being a cop was fresh. I feel like the gang members being like, you know, super powered, it still feels fresh.
Right. I get that.
Or I think at the time anyway. I think you're right, Craig. I feel like that was kind of a new twist.
So
Yeah, I mean, God.
no, you go.
No, I made my point.
So the most important part. What's in the back here?
I got a poster in the middle.
I got a poster in the middle, and I got a coupon for Image Comics Zero.
Comics Zero, yes. Did you guys send in for Image Comics Zero, or you were too late? Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a few decades too late.
Now, for me, I just didn't have the ability to get all that shit, and I didn't want those other books. Like, what a ripoff! This is like you gotta buy all these comics to like.
I was buying them all anyway.
$2.50 shipping.
Image.
Where am I gonna get that kind of scratch?
Too rich for my blood, dude.
I was buying multiple comics, so I didn't have to so I could have a pristine issue, and then I'd have one where I cut the coupon out.
You were hardcore.
Well, I don't know, man. Like Image came out, Brigade, Savage Dragon, Spawn, Youngblood, Cyberforce, Shadowhawk, Wildcats. I had to buy those, man.
Did you have
It
to?
was awesome. I did. It was, Larsen, Lee, Liefeld, McFarlane, Silvestri, Valentino. Back then, I was like, those are the dudes.
I agree. I just didn't have the scratch to buy all those books, but I don't know. I would have. Like, looking back at it, I remember because look at this. Like, look at this ugly ass thing. It's just this like orange sheet of normal ass paper.
Normal ass paper.
Like
it's not even fancy paper.
Yeah, this is thick. This is somewhat cardstocky.
But I mean, compared to the rest, like this poster's all slick and fine.
That is the weird thing. The poster is glossy finish, while the rest of it is rough.
Listen, I like the back of the comic. It's like, revised address redemption form. There was a typo discovered in the zip code of the early redemption forms.
Right.
Half the people that turned it in sent it to the wrong address.
Right.
Wait, where is that?
On the back of the Image Comics Zero orange paper, the coupon. And the big box at the top says revised address redemption form.
Oh.
There's a typo discovered. Oh, early Image.
I like the final deadline for submitting coupons is December 31st, 1992. Unless noted in Youngblood Zero, Image Comics Zero may ship as late as March 2nd, 1993. We have to be able to find out when it actually came out.
Hold on, I actually have it right here. Oh, no, actually, I closed it. Ah, shit.
Oh.
Whoa. Hold on. Look at the coupon. Image Comics Zero coupon. What is that font? That strange script there.
Where?
Like, do you guys see that weird code-looking thing? Like in the lower right-hand corner of your coupon?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
Savage Dragon by Erik Larsen.
Is that what it is?
You can't read that?
No, dude. It's in some kind of weird triangle font. Like,
No.
Oh, yeah? It is kind of weird.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were fucking. I was like, what?
All right, so what's the over-under on when Image Zero shipped?
I want to say 94.
So I'm going to
Raven?
say, I'm going to be optimistic.
No, it's shipped super late. Trust me. I had this.
Okay, well then, if you're going to play fair, then I'm going to guess 97.
Says October 93.
All right.
I knew I should have got you, dude. You fucked me.
Yeah, you did. You really shouldn't have done that.
You cheater.
Look, it said may ship as late as March 2nd, 93 or October 93.
I'm a sucker. I shouldn't have believed the competition. You win, but Olsen, it's a tainted
Why do I
victory.
win? I said...
Guys,
said
guys,
97.
you both lose.
Thank you.
I lost when I ordered this thing and it came in, and the Savage Dragon comic was the only thing worth it in the whole book.
What the heck is this Black Cat by Recollections? Issue
What?
10th big issue on sale now.
What are you talking about?
The back cover ad.
Oh.
So, yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Like, the black cat...
Oh, Lord Harvey Publications.
I see a black cat crossing your path.
It's weird, because it doesn't seem to be a Malibu book, and it doesn't seem to be an Image book. Maybe it's got something to do with Megaton Man. I feel like Recollections with those infinity signs may...
No, I don't think so.
And how about the bizarre connection between, like... Image and this entertainment this month, the Gainesville, like that's where your Image Zero coupons are going too.
Oh yeah.
Like you notice you're sending your coupons and money to American Entertainment, care of Image Comics Zero.
Did you guys see in the letters page, J. Scott Campbell?
Yeah, dude, that's the most
like
clutch thing.
Fan art
by Jeffrey Scott.
Oh, is that him? Funny story.
Yeah,
funny.
and it looks like Art
funny
Adams.
fucking story about that. Roughly around the same time right now, there's a Nintendo Power issue that he submitted art to for like an art contest. I can't remember the topic. I can't remember, but it was definitely Campbell for something. And it was right about this time. So he must have been like looking for outlets to get his work out there.
It's so funny you should say that. I met him at a convention at Heroes Con. And I was just like talking to him. I was like, blah, 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 this and that. And he said, yeah, it's just really weird. He said, these days, everybody, they can get all the exposure and success they want through the internet. He said they don't even have, care about getting their work published or printed anymore. It's not important to them. And it's just kind of funny, like you saying that combined with what he said when I met him. I was like, that must have been how you were doing it, like just trying to get your work printed in anything that would print you.
Alright, so it was like art for his own like video game idea. And it was okay, I guess it was 1989, so it was like years before this. Yeah.
The most clutch thing is the signature on the little scrap of paper. I love it.
Yeah, that was the big thing in the 90s.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Todd McFarlane did that all the time, right?
Yeah, a little scroll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's the Savage Dragon miniseries in the bag. But wait, there's an addendum. Just a little more. So apparently, this issue, Savage Dragon 3, came out in December. And then there was like a 3-month gap. Or even longer, because it was like 6 months before the ongoing series started. But in that time, there was the release of the Savage Dragon versus the Savage Megaton Man, which was a kind of collaboration between Erik Larsen and Don Simpson.
Woo!
Dandy Don.
Now, I don't know a lot about Don Simpson or Megaton Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always get confused, because Dragon started in Megaton, but it's a completely different Megaton.
Literally mentioned in the letters column.
Of course it was.
Which is funny. Yeah.
But yeah, this came out in March of 1993, and parts of this gets reprinted in the collection. Specifically, I think like 4 pages involving the Knicksmen, and then the rest of it is its own thing, crossing over between the two characters. So this issue's a little weird. I'm going to try and summarize it.
Good luck.
Yeah, so it opens with Dragon confronting the Knicksmen, who are Johnny Redbeard's Knicksmen. Of course, this is technically the first appearance of She-Dragon as Sensation, and we'll get into those characters in a minute. But after Dragon's confrontation with them, it cuts to the Mega Hero universe where Megaton Man lives. And we meet a whole bunch of weirdo superheroes. I can't remember most of their names because I'm poorly informed.
Yarn Man, Liquid Man, Rubber Brother. Yep. And Phantom Jungle Ghost Girl, I think.
Oh, that makes sense.
Rubber Brother.
Rubber Brother. That's the winner. I mean, that's the winner, right?
And, of course, Megaton Man is, like, one of the most powerful heroes ever because he's just a massive, muscly chin man.
Muscles upon muscles, dude.
So something weird's happening in another dimension, so he transports himself to the Image universe. Now, Megaton Man is often pretty self-aware about him being a comic book character.
Mm-hmm.
This happens a lot. He runs into the Nyx men who are running away, and then Dragon runs directly into him. Of which then we get a knockdown, drag-out fight. Kind of similar to the Badrock fight in a lot of ways.
Right.
Although Megaton Man puts in a little bit more impressive offense than Badrock did, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they slug it out in wackier and wackier ways. Megaton Man, in particular, he does all kind of like weird cartoon stuff that's really weird. Dragon doesn't approve. Oh, and then there's this big double sideways splash.
Calendar style, dude.
Slagg Heap, who is kind of he's like a gorilla mutant, clearly designed in the Don Simpson style. We'll talk more about how
he's also from the Megaverse.
He is from the Megaverse. I guess that's what the whole reason he's here is he's got to find this guy.
Well, that was the mix-up. Somehow the Nyx men got their hands on Slagg Heap.
Okay.
And they were talking about having a mega weapon. And so when Dragon bumps into, Megaton Man, he thinks that he's the mega weapon.
That makes sense.
But it's actually Slagg Heap.
Alright. And then
they never say how the Nyx men got their hands on Slagg Heap.
It doesn't matter because Slagg Heap goes down in like a single hit from both of them.
Right.
And crushes the Nyx men. And then Megaton Man's friends all come through the portal. And they resolve their differences.
The end.
And of course, Dragon is left to clean up the mess per usual.
Mm-hmm.
But he's happy he didn't break his shades.
That's it.
Because he looks pretty good in shades.
We can only assume that Slagg Heap is still running around Chicago.
Yeah, whatever happened to Slagg Heap, Erik? Bring back Slagg Heap. I'm sure Gavin's itching to kill him.
Yeah, that's it. Hashtag kill Slagg Heap.
So, this issue's credited to both Erik Larsen and Don Simpson. I'm guessing this is a collaboration.
It's FedEx. They FedEx the pages. Remember, 92, folks. Internet, not a thing. So they FedEx the pages back and forth.
Because, Don penciled all the Megaton Man character stuff, and then Erik inked it all?
The way I heard
I
it
don't
said
think so.
it was a back and forth.
Okay.
It's kind of like Image United. Like, they ink their own stuff.
Okay. Because Simpson is inking Megaton Man in the Image universe a lot more detailed than he does in the Megaverse, where things are a lot more, flat colored.
Well, he does say he's going to get cross-hatched inking.
Oh, that's right. He does make mention of that.
Yeah, it's a joke. He's like, "Will I get that fancy cross-hatched inking?"
So that's cool. I like collaborations like this. I'm sure it was a massive pain in the ass.
Oh, dude, it looks so fun. This book looks so... This makes me want to do a crossover like this so bad.
I forget what you said. Did you get this when it came out, Raven? Or you said you got it much later?
No, I got this way later in life. At this point, I had not gotten this issue until I was... Oh, boy. Go from, I got that issue when I was 11 to, this issue I got when I was, 22.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so...
When this came out, I didn't know what to make of it. So let me just say, I appreciate it a hell of a lot more later on, and I appreciate Don Simpson's art, and I really liked it, years later. But when this came out, I was all about the extreme artists and stuff. You know what I mean? It was 90s. I was all about image artists and stuff.
What are you talking about? He looks just like a Liefeld design.
No, the art is just was
You're
too
right.
cartoony.
I can see his crotch. It's not a void.
Just 15 or 16-year-old me was just like, what? Like, this is too weird. Like, I didn't like the mix-up of styles. I just wasn't having it, and I didn't give it a chance then. I thought it was such a weird thing for, like, Savage Dragon being brand new and trying to, like, start off to, like, do something like this.
Well, Megaton Man was one of those independent comics that came out of the Ninja Turtle boom, I assume.
I don't know. I mean, it's from Kitchen Sink.
So I would say in a lot of ways, having the new independent characters cross over with the old independent characters makes a lot of sense.
It might have for, like, probably older readers at the time or something, but I just felt like nobody that I knew who Megaton Man was before this.
Right.
Dude, it's so funny you should say that, because, I mean, did you read Erik's section of the...
Yeah.
It is brutal. It's brutal.
But I think it's all tongue-in-cheek.
I
the
know.
letters column.
I know, but still, dude, even tongue-in-cheek, it's like, ugh. Like,
Yeah.
it's like my career just went up and up and up, and his career went down.
Yeah, I was like, why would you write that?
I was like, oh, brutal, dude.
But then he shits on Image, too.
Right.
He's like, to me, this book defines what Image comics are all about. And he's got this thing where he crosses out of-control cartoonists churning out hopeless, incoherent dreck that comes out months later than originally scheduled. He crosses it out and writes, solid entertainment for the funny book dollar.
Genius.
But
Still good, though. Love it.
no, I love, like, this is basically the precursor of what Image United really was, like, just the two
Exactly.
exact, two guys working on the same page.
I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm so glad you said that, because the thing to me is this kind of collaboration where you have one cartoonist drawing his guy on every page and the other cartoonist drawing his guy on every page. I'll be honest, I don't know for entire stories. Obviously, there are pinups like that like crazy. There's a ton of pinups like that. I'll draw my guy, you draw your guy. But, like, as far as a comic, I don't know of another one. I really don't. Other than Image United. So when I first heard about Image United, like, it flipped my shit, because I was like, oh, it's going to be like Megaton Man on steroids. Like, great. I was so hyped. And I think, for my money, again, I didn't have that experience. I'm going to guess. I'm just going to tell you my guess. I probably would have hated this as a kid, too. Because it's pretty different than the other Savage Dragon issues.
I loved all the dragon poses and shit like that. I didn't hate the comic as a whole. I just didn't like Megaton Man. I was like, why? I was like, he could have been fighting Spawn. Why is he fighting this guy?
Right. Or this is largely bloodless.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of blood.
I just thought it was goofy, but
now I love it.
The thing is, though, yeah, exactly. The thing is with Erik is he's always embraced the comic book medium. So, like, with Megaton Man, like, a lot of art, like, I couldn't imagine, like, McFarlane or Silvestri having Megaton Man fight their characters,
Right.
And so Erik is totally fine with, like, playing it goofy, playing it brute. You go from what we were just, reviewing, the miniseries, issue 3 being, like, a pretty, it's bad rock and it's a little silly, but it was still, takes itself kind of as a serious comic,
Mm-hmm.
to, like, just jumping in with this real cartoony character. And then, years later or months later, I think it was years later, he did, like, the Destroyer Duck Savage Dragon, just real silly kind of characters, but he's not afraid to mix it up with that, whereas I don't see any other creators really at Image doing that kind of stuff.
No, you're 100% right. There would never be, and I think it has amazing potential. Like, for instance, you could have Walking Dead crossover with I Hate Fairyland. Like, that's something that could happen. Easy. It's one creator talking to another, and it could happen. And it would be out of this world. And that's the closest equivalent I could think of, is that, like, here you have Megaton Man. Not a full issue. They had the cover. but they didn't have like a full issue, did they?
I don't know. I haven't read either of them in a while.
I don't think they did. Walking Dead, I don't think would ever do. The closest Walking Dead did to anything goofy was they had the Let's Meet the Alien Invasion, where Ryan Otley drew, like, you know, oh, it's Alien Invasion, and like they had that joke. I think that was in what, issue 100 or issue 50 or something.
One of those two, yeah. It was
because like Kirkman had the joke, but like again, it's mostly been serious, like pretty much. And so you're right, like to have Megaton Man meet Savage Dragon, and again so early on, like so early on.
I feel like Erik in particular, of all the Image founders, was the one to really embrace the independent comic scene in general.
Yeah,
he Savage Dragon is in many ways part of that. You know, that independent culture, comic culture,
absolutely,
more so than any of the others.
Big time, dude.
Well, because the Savage Dragon character was actually around a lot before.
Oh, that's true.
Image,
he was in it to begin with, right? Back in the Megaton era.
I mean, you go back to the wedding issue with Barbaric and Ricochet, and you see all the you know,
Image characters,
the indie guys there.
Yeah, I would say that he definitely, like even the Ninja Turtles showing up, like, you know, there's definitely always been that like Savage Dragon North American indie comic connection.
Yep.
Way more than like Spawn, way more than like Youngblood, way more than like Shadowhawk. Those guys just didn't do that.
Shadowhawk did it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Valentino is the next one because he had Normal Man. Normal Man is super old school indie, and I think he did Carl. I think he was the one who spearheaded the 1963 series with Alan Moore. I think that was Shadowline. So he was doing a little bit of that stuff, but it never,
and he was playing around with Big Bang guys,
right? So he Valentino was a bit more into it, but Erik seemed to like really get into it.
Yeah.
Funny story. I know this is like I'm sorry, guys. This kind of abandons like your train of thought there just a little bit. But my issue is autographed by Don Simpson. It says Don Simpson 93 right here on the cover.
Nice. You know, it's funny you say that. I was going through my issues and I noticed I had one signed by Erik, and I don't think I probably just picked it up somewhere and didn't realize it.
Right.
It's like, oh, Erik's signature on there.
The only Erik signature I have is the one on my hardcover.
I also have a Savage Dragon versus Megaton Man gold foil title for some reason.
What?
Awesome. That's great.
It's so ridiculous.
No, one last story.
I didn't even remember having it.
One last story. I'm so sorry. I think you'll get a laugh out of this. Don Simpson's a Pittsburgh local, right?
Right.
Yep.
And my buddy, he was like talking to, you know, apparently like him and Don Simpson interact. But like he doesn't know like shit about like comics. So he wouldn't know who Don Simpson was. So he tells his buddy that he tells Don Simpson that the only thing he knows, he's like, I don't know you. And Don Simpson's like, well, I did Savage Dragon and Megaton Man. Like, he used that like to like sort of like name drop who he might like to try and like bring it into like bring himself into like my buddy's like sphere. And the only thing my buddy can say is, oh, my buddy reads Savage Dragon. It's kind of funny, like him using Savage Dragon to, like, you know.
It's probably the biggest book he's worked on. I gotta think, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I wonder how many. This issue probably sold a shit ton of copies.
Oh yeah, dude. A one shot with a brand new Image character. Forget about it. It's a new number one.
In 1990, which year is this? 93.
Yeah. Or it's the cover's signed 92, but it's published
93.
93. Yeah. March 93.
Can we talk about the Next Men?
Yes, let's talk about the Next Men.
Dude, look at the pile of bloody corpses all around them. Yeah. They really took out some anger on these folks.
Murderers.
So the whole gag here is that these are all references to John Byrne characters.
John Byrne's instead of Next Men.
Yeah. At the time, John Byrne had moved off of DC stuff and was doing his own thing. So if I remember correctly, Sensation, of course, is She-Hulk.
Yep.
Sensational She-Hulk.
I forget what this guy's name is. The guy in blue and red.
Super X.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Superman. So it's a reference to John Byrne's relaunch of Superman post-Crisis.
Yep.
The guy in the headband is kind of a Wolverine-esque guy. So
Nope.
No?
Namor, right?
Yeah, he's the subhuman. He's Namor. So Byrne
Oh,
did
that's right, he
a
did.
series of Namor, became like a corporate executive guy.
I recall
remember?
that now, yes, at Marvel, yeah.
And then I don't know what Fade and Lightning Bug are supposed to be.
I forgot about Fade.
You guys have any clue on them?
Not a clue, bro.
Don't have one clue. Let me see if the
I can't get
Wikipedia
over
page of ours.
I can't get over She-Dragon's, like, pose. Look at her buns. Like,
She's
she is...
popping a squat.
Yeah, exactly. She is standing in such a pooping fashion.
All right, Fade, Lightning Bug. Let's just see if... Oh, yeah, Fade. She's got a cool design.
Dude, I love, though, how he took, like She-Dragon was just a spoof on, sensational She-Hulk. So her name was Sensation. And then her whole thing was, like, she's like, I perform for people from another realm that only I could see. It was that only I could see. My directionless non-adventures, petty jabs, lame jokes, and... What does it say?
Pratfalls.
Ultimately bored and drove away all who knew me. So he took that and he turned her into a real character. And so, like, she used to, like, talk, like, break the wall and everything and talk. But it turned out Erik wrote it so she was talking to the Eternal Youth, remember?
Right.
Yeah.
So
So he changed it from being a spoof to, like, an actual, like, real thing, It's pretty funny.
And then she became important. Like, I would say She-Dragon was an important character.
Dude, Johnny Redbeard, who's supposed to be John Byrne, became an important character.
Right. So good, dude. Yeah, I love it.
Even Lightning Bug showed up a bunch.
Lightning Bug is actually still alive. She's like, except for She-Dragon, who's depowered. Lightning Bug is the only one who's still active. All the rest are dead.
For the better.
Yeah.
For the better.
I would like to see more of her. Lightning Bug has a good, cool design, and you know what? She was, like we talked about previously. She was in that poster teased as like an important character. So maybe Erik has like super secret plans for her.
You never know, dude. Flashing back to the letters column from issue 1 when he was talking about things that happened in the old comics.
Yeah.
One thing he said, and I've never let go of it. I've always thought about this. I think about it all the time. When he was talking about how Dragon's kids would magically get super aged into adults so they could become heroes faster.
Yeah.
I'm waiting, dude. I'm waiting for those kids to be super aged.
I don't think it's going to happen now.
You really don't?
Nah.
Issue
I don't see
250.
it.
I'm calling super aged. No,
Maybe.
I don't, like, if that happened, would you dudes, like, shit a brick? Like, would you think, what? Like...
I don't know. I'd be all right with it.
Suddenly Amy's an adult?
It'd be weird.
I'm into it. I think if it happened, it'd be okay. It really kills me.
I gotta say, Super X's power, where Soap, his what does he say? My new powers keep my clothes clean forever clean, but I repel soap. Basically, he's talking about Superman's telekinesis abilities, how Byrne explains him.
Do tell. What's that mean? I never got that.
Okay, so in the John Byrne reboot, Superman's powers are explained as he can fly and he's invulnerable because he has latent telepathic abilities. So it's he uses like telekinesis is basically the answer to like all of the physics-based questions. Like when he picks up a giant ship, or why the building doesn't collapse when he picks it up in the middle, it's because he's using telekinesis to hold it together. Yeah, it's the stupidest thing ever, and that's what Erik is referencing here with his with how he repels soap.
Imagine just 1993 and John Byrne just catching whiff of this shit.
Exactly. You know he was fucking hot, dude. Hot.
Erik Larsen is a riot, dude. Dude's got balls.
Oh,
Massive balls. He's just like, I'm going to call these guys Johnny Redbeard's Nixed Men.
With the
no
same
doubt
font.
I am shitting on every one of your creations. Every single one of your creations in the past decade. Big fat shit on them.
A double-page spread dedicated to shitting.
Yeah, just telling you how ridiculous your characters are. Absolute insanity.
I love it, dude.
Insanity.
Because I also think, I feel like that's the kind of thing that, like, these days people are way too, like, I don't know. I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, because absolutely people do take shots at each other, but, like, they wouldn't do it, like, they wouldn't make fucking whole characters dedicated to it, you know what I mean?
Our weakened condition was a result of his senseless revamping.
That's basically the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Because we do as our recreator did, destroy our surroundings in the name of change. We don't care who we hurt. So basically, yeah, they get revamped. They're well, I guess it's all revamps. So it's basically just every time he comes on title, he changes everything.
Look at the Namor guy. I was stripped of my flying ability after looting my undersea kingdom to build a giant corporation that Johnny and I couldn't properly run. He gave me amnesia and ran for the hills.
It's good, dude. Classic.
Yeah, I can't figure out who Fade or Glowbugger is supposed to be.
Yeah, it's weird.
Fade's got to be... she doesn't speak, so she doesn't give me any clues. And the Wikipedia doesn't spell it out, probably for tact. So, yeah. That was a fun issue. Let's check the back matter. Oh, look, it's Young Bud Strike Files with a young up-and-coming Jay Lee.
We have to remember to ask Erik next time we interview him who those characters, if anyone, who they're supposed to be. I'm really interested.
I'm sure he knows, too, is what's funny.
I'm sure he knows, but I don't know if he'll tell us.
Why not? I don't think he gives a shit.
Yeah, we'll
He's
see.
got nothing to lose. He's doing good.
So, Neil Gaiman is writing Spawn. I can only see good things coming from this.
Yeah, dude, that's so funny. It's like they've got it all giant and stuff. You're like,
Don't do it.
Neil Gaiman writes Spawn. It's like, oh no.
he'll someday he'll own the wholly original character Medieval Spawn.
Yeah, how about
sell it to Marvel?
How about fucking Angela? Was it Angela?
Yes.
That is now in Guardians. It's
Yup.
like, ah.
Yep, she is an official Marvel Universe character.
And they use her.
What a world we live in.
Yeah, that's so douchey.
Oh,
Douche
hey.
to the max, dude.
Al Gordon and Jerry Ordway are coming at us with Wildstar.
Sky Zero.
It's weird. It's the arc is called Sky Zero, but it doesn't really appear on the covers. At least I don't think so. So
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's a 30 megaton blowout.
Yeah, a lot of megaton action in this one, huh?
Yeah, a lot of blowouts.
Also, this is one of my favorite things. We're getting the Freak Force teaser, and this is the Erik Larsen drawn poster, cover.
Yeah, and Vic Bridges basically copies the whole thing in his art.
Yeah,
like the same poses and everything.
I dig this a lot, and this comes out in March, and I don't think Freak Force debuts until December, so it's still a ways off. But I'm super cool that he's teasing this already, because think about it, none of these characters have been introduced yet. We
except for Super
Patriot.
Patriot.
That's true, Super Patriot, but Mighty Man's supposed to be dead. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess that's why he's got a star on his chest. He's different.
Maybe that's why I went with that.
That actually would explain a lot. No, it's cool to look at what else was going on at the same time. Oh yeah, back cover, stupid.
Well, even these
Hillary
pinups,
Barta.
these pinups like Erik drawing Megaton Man and then Don Simpson drawing Dragon.
Yeah.
Woof.
Woof.
Craig the harshest. I love Erik's Megaton Man though. I think he's awesome.
He's very beefy.
Yeah, I like that.
His tiny, tiny hands.
Yeah, dude.
Just won't say anything about the dragon pinup.
Oh, really? But look at him. Look at him. He's so regular proportioned.
He's hairy. He's hairy as fuck.
Oh, you're responding to the hair. I see.
I like the weird.
I like the 80s joggers.
Yeah. That's just. I was gonna say, like, Don Simpson didn't give a shit to just put some old ass looking 70s style like.
That's what the kids look like these days. So that's the Savage Dragon versus the Savage Megaton Man. I think overall it was a fun issue.
Yeah.
I do want to say real quick, just a quick addendum. We should talk briefly about Image Comic Zero.
Lay it on us. I'm super excited
if only
for this.
because when the initial miniseries was collected in the Baptism of Fire collection, Erik added a bunch of stuff. Primarily, I was wrong. It wasn't 4 pages for Megaton Man. It was literally 1 page for Megaton Man.
Okay.
But in addition, he added a story which ran in Image Zero, which is a super important story. This is so weird. So yeah, as we were talking about earlier, there was coupons in various issues of Image Comics that if you got them all together, you could order away for a special issue, Image Zero, which would be a bunch of stories by the Image founders, including an Erik Larsen story. Now, let me clear my mind real quick so I can get the timeline right. This Image Zero story didn't come out until October of this year, at least according to my Comic Vine database that I was looking at. I don't know how accurate that actually is. Savage Dragon, the ongoing series, debuted in July. This story in Image Zero is the story of Debbie Harris getting murdered, which, because I read this story when it was in the collection the first time, is a super important part of, to me, Dragon's backstory, or his character as a cop, or as a character in general.
Right.
So that means the Savage Dragon ongoing was like 6 issues in before this story saw light of day. It's so weird to me that they would get that far into the series before that, what I consider a defining character, defining moment, was shown to anybody. And then later collected in this trade paperback, which also, just to mention, the collection reorganizes a lot of events from the miniseries. Like, it starts at the burning field, it does the Frank and Dragon in the hospital stuff first, and then goes into the action scenes. And then, of course, at the end of the book, they add in this Debbie Harris stuff, and he even draws new pages to bookend it, which aren't in Image Zero. They're wholly new for the collection.
Well, they taught so the Dragon 5-issue 99-cent reprints of the miniseries, which adds all the trade stuff in. Erik has a big write-up at the end and talks about all the stuff in detail. But with the Image Comic Zero, it's the same like typical old Image thing that Erik tries to make Image Comics special by putting this event in, which is like a mind-blowing event, and he thought it would be something cool to like be worthwhile to send all those coupons for. Unfortunately, it seemed like all the other artists dragged their ass.
Right.
And when we got it, I think McFarlane was just dumb pinups, and Liefeld had like this real bare bones troll story, and it was just it's the same old story. Remember, I mean, Erik did it with like the Image Comics hardcover where he was like, I'm going to tell Dragon's origin and make this worthwhile, and then
10th anniversary, dude.
Yeah, and then McFarlane was like, I'm just going to write a prose story with a bunch of static pictures or something, like you know what I mean, a bunch of pinups again. But he said that he decided to put it in the trade, and the trade actually came out because he didn't know when Image Zero was going to come out.
Right.
And it ended up coming out before the trade before Image Zero by like a couple weeks or something.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And then there was also this Operation Urban Storm, and I don't know if that was supposed to be a one-shot or whatever. And there's there was like a mini story on that was added into the trade and in the Dragon miniseries, which is when Dragon kind of meets most of the police force.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then is introduced to Howard Neisman for the first time.
Oh, yeah, none of that was in the miniseries. All of this seems super important to me, too.
Yeah,
Meeting
so
all these
that
cops.
was that Operation Urban Storm was supposed to be like a one shot, and I don't know if it was supposed to be like a benefit comic or something, but it was right around the LA riots time.
Yep.
Oh.
So it's all about like kind of like that, you know. So Niesman's all in Dragon's face, calling him a freak and shit like that, and so basically Dragon doesn't have any of it and just grabs Niesman by the balls and lifts him up, and he's like, you know, might doesn't make right. He's like, wearing a badge doesn't make you correct or whatever. It's like, things like the Rodney King beating and your little episode are turning people against the police, blah, blah, blah. And it's this big thing about police brutality type thing.
Right.
So that was all different and added.
Yeah, that's not ringing a bell at all, my dude. I don't think I saw that shit at all.
If you don't have the trade, you didn't see it, or the 99-cent reprints.
Wow. Again,
It might be in the archives, actually.
The Niesman Nut Crunch is like a super like important character trait defining to me.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing I read.
Do you have the archives?
I have the archives. Raven.
I do not.
I'm wondering if it's in
It
there.
is.
Probably in there.
It is. It's identical to the
I have it.
structure
I just
of it.
haven't looked at it.
Actually, that's kind of weird now that I think about it. Because the archives, the back of the archives, shows the miniseries issues, but then it reprints the Baptism of Fire layout way it was published.
Well, that Operation Urban Storm too, like it's probably about 5 pages long. It happens right after he shoots the target, the little hand,
right?
You know, that we were laughing about on a previous episode.
9 bullets in one hole.
Right.
He gets introduced to all the cops, which is pretty pivotal too. Like Bruce Robinson, William Johnson, Alex Wilde, Phil Dirt, and then Howard Niesman. They each get their own panel, so that's pretty pivotal.
Yeah, it's not ringing a bell either.
Yeah. Well, we'll fax it to you.
Gotta get those trades, baby. Gotta get those archives.
So yeah, just for people out there, if you've only read the single issue miniseries and not the trade or the Dragon reprints, you're missing out. What I consider two of the most important scenes in this book.
Well, and that's too, again, the reason why he reprinted the Dragon in '96, that 5-issue series, is because I guess at the time the readers complained that the trade had all this extra stuff that, you know, people that were buying the single issues were getting punished. And as you know, Erik's kind of flipped that position where it's like, you know, you get more stuff if you buy the single stuff, and the trades are the real stripped down things now. You're not getting like the backup stories and the funnies in the trades.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. That's why I kind of like, it was like, I don't really need those trades, because like I knew that the trades didn't have, like, I don't think they have letters, like, for sure. I mean,
No,
that'd be weird. Not. But like I knew they didn't have the backup comics, and
although this one I believe may have, if I remember correctly, the trade was bundled with a comic right? That reprinted a bunch of the backups. Oh no, that wasn't this one. That was forced.
That was for the original.
That was forced to be reckoned
series.
with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so even it had the backups too?
Yeah, that was like the one time that happened.
As a comic.
Okay.
He also used to do a lot of like sketchbook stuff in the back of the trade.
There's a lot of sketchbook stuff in the back of the Baptism Fire trade. Like,
which is cool.
Like a ton.
I might have that. I feel like I've seen sketches somewhere. Sorry,
I'm sure they've been republished elsewhere or shown elsewhere. But it is interesting to see.
Yeah, I also think it's funny, and I know Erik kind of kicks himself in the ass for doing this, is that he wasn't sure if the miniseries, if the Dragon comic was going to be a hit, so he decided to make it a miniseries.
Right? Yeah.
I'm just surprised he didn't, after like it coming out with 3, didn't just make an issue 4.
Yeah, that is weird. Why he just wouldn't continue it as is?
Although the sales probably made, you know, a new issue 1 was probably like...
Yeah, but he's so against that now. It's weird.
Now, but then, I mean, you saw the type of money coming in and the volume of comics sold in '92.
Oh yeah, dude.
He
And
probably regrets it because he would have been 3 more issues closer to 250 at this point.
I'm sure he does, but like again, like at the time monetarily, I'm positive it was the right move to make.
Yeah.
Because didn't he say like off his first issue he was able to like buy a house and go on a honeymoon?
I'm sure.
And so it's just like, all right, dude, rolling.
Well, if you listen to our interview with Gary Carlson, what was he saying? Like that Vanguard 1 sold over 100,000 copies.
Right.
I love those stories where they're like, oh, we had to discontinue it because it just wasn't selling enough. Meanwhile, it gets canceled at like 50,000 copies or whatever.
Yeah, which is
ridiculous.
Is berserk.
Ridiculous numbers.
Completely berserk. Like numbers that people would kill for. If you were doing 100K, you'd be in the top 10.
And nobody knew who Vanguard was then.
Right.
It's not like you're doing like a new Wolverine one, which would barely crack 100,000 probably now or something.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what are the top comics selling now?
Batman.
And how many issues about?
I think Batman is doing like it did go up. And like for a long time, like comics were barely breaking 100. I think Batman comics are starting to break like 3 and 400.
That's good.
Yeah, it is actually on the uptick.
Wow,
believe it or
that's
not.
huge. Because I feel like years ago, like we were getting to a point where like 100,000 was like top 10.
Yep, I think like now like Batman, it's like most. I think like the top 10 though is like 5 of the top 10 are like Batman.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's still it's pretty scary to think only 100,000 comics is like top 10.
Yeah, well, it's definitely again just the difference between 93 and 2019. It's
oh, we can't do Ninja Turtles in color because they only sell 14,000 copies a piece.
Right. Oh my goodness, dude. Nah, I'm actually like I'm super pleased with this like Megaton Man. Like I think I don't know all these like these early issues. I think they still hold up. I think the colors still look vibrant and good on them. I mean, it might not be the best coloring, but like I'm just saying, like it's. I think that they're still entertaining things. Mindless, sure, but like fun. It's still fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that about wraps us up. Unless there's any other like bits and bobs we can think of. I think that's about it. Next time, I think we're going to... Let me check my list real quick.
On the next Savage Dragon.
Next time, actually, speaking of Wildstar, I think we're going to cover the Wildstar series by Gordon and Ordway.
Those were thinking
nice.
noises.
It's a bit of a... I'm going to say it's a little bit tangential to Dragon. But Wildstar appears in Dragon often, and he's rather enigmatic to me. So I have not read any of these issues before, so this is going to be a first time for me.
Yep.
Are we gonna like when we do the reviews? Are we gonna go through the complete series, or are we gonna still like skip in chronological order?
Oh no!
Like, do issue
so
one and then
just
go
to
back
explain to you in the audience, the idea is that, especially for miniseries, like 4-issue miniseries, when we get to them chronologically, we're gonna do the whole series in one in sequence till it's done, and then we'll return to Savage Dragon and do a few issues of that. Just to like, for example, we're gonna do our next 2 episodes are gonna cover Wildstar because there's 4 issues of that to do. Then we're going to go back to Savage Dragon, and then we're going to do the 4 issues Super Patriot series.
Gotcha.
Do those. When Freak Force starts, we're going to switch off every 2 issues. Is the plan?
Yeah, I think
that's for
Force
next
is
year. That's for
important
next year.
To do it along with Savage Dragon because so much stuff happens back and forth. To go through all of Freak Force wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, so we're not going to go all 15 issues of Freak Force. We're going to go 2 issues of Freak Force, 2 issues of Savage Dragon, 2 issues of Freak Force, and for as long as till we finish.
Sweet.
So
Awesome,
that
dude.
is the overall plan for the next year.
I'm looking forward to this because I haven't read through my Savage Dragon comics in a while, and then B, it's going to be fun to talk about this with you guys because we've never talked about these comics.
I tried this on for size. I have literally never done a straight read through.
Neither have I.
Shame on you.
It's
no.
always been out of order because that's how I collected them. So I've always just jumped around.
Did you guys ever collect the second Wild Star series?
I own it, not read it. We'll get to it.
Neither.
Okay.
Neither of the above. Haven't owned or read.
How could you get those digitally now if you don't have them? Or
We'll talk about that when the show's over.
Oh, you know, I will say that, like, I have, again, the faintest of memories of Wildstar being awesome because, like, he tore a symbiote off a dude's face, and the dude was like, oh, my face! And, you know, he's like, it wasn't your face, it was just a thing living on your face. And I was like, oh, what a badass. And yet, for some reason, I didn't stick with the guy. Just didn't keep going.
well, now's your chance to redeem
That's
yourself.
it. Total redemption. Wildstar fan. The Wild Starcast begins next what? Next time, right?
Yes, next time.
Next time.
Okay.
So thanks
We're
for
out.
listening, everybody. If you got any questions, suggestions, opinions, send them to savagefincast@gmail.com or leave a message on our website or even leave a review on iTunes. Thanks for listening.
Adios.
Peace.